But it's so funny because when I made the logos for the Last of Us, the Firefly logo,
Uh-huh.
I spent like 1 month like doing like hundreds. I mean, or I think 150 iterations of
Uh-huh.
one logo, and then eventually they said they want to go back to the day one concept, like, and that day one concept they called it looked shit, and then I don't know what happened. They suddenly wanted it, so that's so funny.
It's a funny story.
Yeah,
Wait, hang on. So the Firefly logo is yours?
yeah,
Holy
100%.
shit!
Yeah,
Oh, I
I should
didn't
get
know
it
that. And
tattooed on me. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, or like on your left pec or something. All right. All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you are watching this. Welcome back to our artist interview segment here at Brushpoint. I'm your host, Mumsis, or you can call me Justin if you're nasty. Today we have a kababayan guest all the way from Sweden. He has
Eh,
contributed to projects such as The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, one of my favorite games, Sims 4, FIFA Street, and League of Legends. He is currently the main marketing illustrator for Stacked and a freelance art director and illustrator for West Studio. So, without further ado, please welcome Mr. Deiv Calviz. So, just imagine a huge auditorium of people clapping, a
yeah,
whole community clapping. So, and
cool.
yes, welcome. You are our first kababayan guest here,
Oh,
like
really?
our first imported guest. And yes, we'll keep it English for now for the
Yeah, yeah.
international audience. All right, but uh, let's start with something Filipino first. So your real name is David Villegas, very Filipino name.
Yep.
Talk about how you came up with your social media name, Dave Calviz.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
do you have? Yeah.
I think I was like searching for a name for my website and like a .com, but when I tried David Villegas, of course it was taken already. And when I Google David Villegas, you'll see like hundreds of like Filipinos and Spanish people. So
Just like NBI, you have
yeah,
multiple hits in NBI.
and there was this artist called Randis Albion. I'm not sure if you know. Yeah, and
Yeah.
apparently his name is an alias. So I forgot his real name, but yeah. So he inspired me to like make an alias as well. So people call me Dave. So it's just a different spelling, Dave. And then the Calvis is from my surname, my mother's name, Albito, and father Villegas, and Al and V. So Alvi. And then I just added 2 letters in front, and yeah. And it worked, I think. It's a
Oh,
very
okay.
unique name, like super unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say I don't see that anywhere else. And wait, so you're known internationally as Dave Calviz, and
Yep.
does that get in the way of getting jobs? Like, if for example, you're getting paid, but your
Uh-huh.
PayPal or credit card stuff initials or your name's different there, don't they wonder like who's this guy? Oh, that's
I
my real
know it
name.
doesn't really get in the way because when it comes to payments, you talk to a different person, like an accountant, and
Uh-huh.
they just get your real name, real address, whatever. So yeah, it
Oh,
doesn't
okay,
really matter. Yeah. And
okay. We're
especially
getting
now
ahead.
that I
Yeah.
have I started a company now, so
Oh, you
so
did.
it's
Cool, cool.
it's also Dave Calvis. So it's now separate from me from so yeah, having a different company now, and like so this is a different entity from my personal, so it's more easy to explain to any company. Yeah,
That's cool.
hope that
Wait, so
makes
is
sense.
that
Yeah.
company there in Sweden? It's
Oh yeah,
registered there? That's so cool,
yeah.
man. Is it like your own studio?
Well, it's just me.
Oh,
I just made the company because I need to save on taxes. There's a weird like tax rules, like you save a lot more money if you have a
if
company.
you're.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. Well, if
because yeah,
any kababayans are there in Sweden, that's secret sauce right there to save on tax. I'm not sure that
you know
works the
that
same way
how
here.
much the tax here is. It's like 55%. Like
Oh,
that's crazy.
But is it universal healthcare in Sweden?
Oh yeah, yeah. So you're paying for like even the
Pays
childcare.
off.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Well,
healthcare,
I've
childcare,
heard great.
education.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, even like you look at everywhere, the parks, the roads, everything's like well planned out. So you're really paying for like a good life. But there's
Yeah.
still pros and cons.
Okay. I've heard like wonders for universal healthcare. Australia has it. I think Germany has it. And you guys
Hmm.
have it there.
Yeah.
And I want to get political. A lot of our Filipino friends here have a lot to say about taxes and
Oh
how
yeah.
the country's run. That's pretty. We need to be drinking Red Horse or something. Do you have Red
Yeah.
Horse there? No.
That's a long
Uh,
conversation.
yes, a
Yeah.
long conversation. And okay. But let's bring it back. Bring it back just a bit, and let's start with, since you don't have much interviews. I don't think you have any interview online. I've done
No, I'm
nice
really a shy
research.
person, so yeah, you're
Oh,
lucky.
a
I
Brushpoint
agreed.
exclusive.
Yeah,
Another exclusive
Brushpoint
video.
exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, just like with Santiago the other day, like literally just a few days ago. So, with this exclusive, could you give us like a broad, it can be specific or as broad as you want, but could you just paint a picture of how young Dave started out in art?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like the kid who draws every day on the back of the notebook. So I'm always like in the class. Everybody knows like if there's like an art group project, everybody wants to be my teammate or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So I was always like that, and then I studied multimedia arts in Benilde,
Mm,
and
okay.
it was an expensive school, so I got into
Yes.
a scholarship program, and yeah, and I got in, and so after that, I didn't know what I wanted to do. It's like I wasted like a few, maybe a year or something, because when
Damn.
you're studying multimedia arts, like you're going to learn all the basics of everything, like photography, web design,
Yeah.
video editing, everything, like.
Sound
And
design, I've heard, even
yeah, everything,
animation.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And it's a
tried all of
trimester.
those. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. And
a
the pacing's
trimester.
really fast there. Yeah, just a
Oh
trimester.
yeah. So it was so fast that I had to extend a few terms because the typical 4 years wasn't really that realistic if you want to achieve like a good quality. So I extended a little bit. And yeah, after graduating, I didn't know what to do. Uh, I remember after graduating, that's when I started. I think my parents bought me like a Wacom tablet, and I
Oh,
started
cool.
figuring out how to digital paint. Because before it was just only in school, and I didn't have a personal tablet back then. And
Did
and yeah, I
you
just
do
I oh,
mainly graphite, or did you do painting, like traditional painting during
no,
college? Ah, okay.
no, just pencil paper and I think a little bit of markers. Like I forgot the name of
Copic?
the marker. It's like Copic, but the black
Uh-huh.
one, the thick one.
Oh,
I
though they have
forgot what.
different thickness,
It's a
but yeah,
different
I know.
brand, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's the same as Copic. And I was more into like anime back then,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, the first job I got was actually video like post production. It was so different
Oh,
because I think my aunt like had connections there, so I just took whatever jobs, and we were editing like videos for Jollibee and like advertisements for TV5 and like so much so random stuff. And eventually I stumbled upon the website called Gamma Sutra and Game
excuse me.
Sutra.
Oh, Game Sutra. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, Game Sutra.
Woo! We almost got demonetized right there. So
the
the G Gamma
G
Sutra. All
Gamma
right.
Sutra. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a funny. Yeah, it's a legit website, and I browsed there and one of what are the art studios in the Philippines and outsourcing stuff, and I saw Lady Luck Digital Media, and then I applied and
Ah,
got in. I think now there's like so many studios there in the Philippines. But back then there
Yeah,
was just like Secret Six and Lady Luck.
and
So
probably Anino. Yeah,
oh
Anino
right, yeah.
games.
I think
But
when I joined Lady Luck, there wasn't much of, or maybe it's closed down. I'm not sure, because some of the people from Anino were my workmates, I think. So
around what years?
that's where I
Around
got
what
to
year?
work.
Oh, okay.
What year? Let me
I think we
around
have some sort
2010
of
maybe.
delay. I'm sorry.
2010?
I'm sorry if I'm talking over. I think we have a
No, no, no.
delay.
Oh, maybe
Okay,
around 2010.
it's been
Yes.
14 years.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that was your first job around that time. Okay,
I mean, that's my
it's
first game-related job, and it's the first
okay.
serious illustration job. That's where I met, Aero and Florento, Brian Sola, and
Ah,
my
okay, okay.
wife, my now wife
Oh,
Giselle. That's where I met her.
right. She's an artist as well. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We worked on the
Okay,
Sims 4, so that's the biggest project we worked on, like for maybe 2 years, I think.
okay.
And that's where we got really like a good friendship. Like
Is
the
that what you
company
call
was
it?
very fun. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the people who work there are still my friends until
Oh, I
now.
thought you meant with your wife.
Oh yeah,
Like a
well both.
good, good.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so you spent around 2 years, am I right? Before, well, how did you end up in the shores of Sweden then? Like from there, from
Hmm.
grinding as a videographer, and then getting your first art job, and then grinding it out as the years went by. How did you then transition into Sweden?
I think it started when there were a few layoffs and lady luck, and
Hmm.
then some of my friends like got laid off, and eventually this company was already super small, but me and my wife was still working there. So the people who were laid off, they tried looking for work, and a lot of them actually got work in Sweden in Ubisoft. Uh,
Oh, they
so
have a branch there.
so everybody like discovered the opportunities in Sweden and how like easy it was back then. And one of our friends got work at King in Stockholm. King Games, like for Candy Crush, and
Oh,
then
okay.
and eventually the company shut down Lady Luck, and my wife tried to apply on for Candy Crush as well for King, but for the Malma studio. So yeah, so actually it was my wife why we're here,
Oh, she
and
she
I
got
just tagged
the
along, yeah,
visa.
because by
Oh,
then I
okay, good.
didn't have any like real work,
Just
like
freelancing.
yeah, just freelancing.
Okay, so she petitioned you.
So it was very generous of Sweden to like allow people to bring their partners, and
Uh-huh.
it didn't matter if you're not married, because some countries you need to be married, right? But
Oh,
in
it's cool.
Sweden, you
Yeah.
could just prove that you've been like living together, like prove the relationship is real and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you have to show? I don't know if this is real. Like my girlfriend's mom said that sometimes you have to show your like love letters to each other to prove that you're actually
Maybe.
together. Oh, like you didn't have to
Yeah.
do anything like that.
Well, you could do it if you wanna like have a higher chance.
Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay, but those are some tips right there for just
Yeah.
for Sweden. I know it's more tighter in like US or something.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and how long have you been in Sweden then?
Um, more than 5 years. Yeah,
More
more
than
than
five
five
years.
years.
Well, half a decade. Okay, okay. Did you get married there in Sweden or here in the country?
Yeah, actually here we got married here first, and then another in the Philippines for church wedding.
Oh, okay, of course, because
Yeah,
tradition.
yeah,
Okay.
and for the family.
Okay. Oh, okay. So thank you for that. And there, because that's not available anywhere else, unless people know you from like Metal Pen or like
Hmm.
Jace and the others. Okay. So a little birdie on the wall told me that you recently became a daddy. So,
Ah, yeah.
hey, congrats. And
Thank you.
yeah, I also saw Facebook. Thanks for adding me. By the way, I was after 1 month. I'm like, I was so scared that he might think I'm some creep. Yes, I'm the
I
interviewer.
just don't use social media as much.
That as you should, man. It's draining. But social media allowed me to see like, oh, he's a dad, and some of JS a while ago mentioned he needs to know more about that, like starting a family. And I myself, I'm not getting married yet because I'm only 26.
Mm-hmm.
I still gotta save up. No pressure yet. But you know how Filipinos are.
Mm-hmm.
They get all touchy about the topic. Like, when are you gonna have an apo? Hey, when are you
Mm-hmm.
gonna give us an apo, a grandchild? So I wanted to ask, as a fellow Filipino who recently started a family, did anything change with how you make art there ever since you became a dad? Because I interviewed Andreas Rocha way back
Mm-hmm.
then, I think 2 months ago, um, and he talked about how he had to work around his newborn twins at the time. He had
Mm,
twins,
yeah.
so it's two. He had
Oh
to work
boy.
at like 3 a.m. Or weird
Mm-hmm.
times, and he had to work fast because they would start crying and dad to feed them and carry them. So, how
Yeah.
was it like that for you so far?
Yeah, for me, because before I like to work like maybe a 3 hour like marathon, like just 3 straight hours. But now it's just when the kid is crying, like you need to change diapers and like make milk, and so I need to like break my focus like every 30 to 40 minutes, and I eventually like got used to it. Like I can only work 30 minutes before my kid needs me or something. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's basically like the major thing that changed. But I don't really have like those like early morning work types because I took a less work, so I could manage my time more. Yeah.
And how about the missus? Because she's also an artist, right?
Yeah, in Sweden actually it's they have like around like a year you could take the year off. Like
That's how long the maternity leave is there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does she still do remote work despite that, or she's just really resting?
I mean, so my kid is already one at 20 months. So my wife has already been working since January this year.
Oh,
So
okay. Welcome
yeah.
back.
And and in Sweden when a child reaches like around 1 year old, they have a free preschool. I mean, it's not really free, but it's subsidized. So my son goes there like every weekday, so we could work. And yeah, that's how the life here is. Because in the Philippines, you have like grandparents and like aunts and yeah, and
Yeah.
maid or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So it's not really like daycare, but wait, they start going to preschool at 1 year old.
yeah. It's
That's metal.
it's a bit sad.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty okay. I hope
So
it's
I
like
try to
daycare. Where
like get him earlier as early as we can,
oh
and it helps because
uh,
we're both working from home. My wife
yeah,
works there,
I
and
was
the
gonna ask like,
daycare
is that her?
and yeah, the daycare preschool is just um one road away. Like yeah, I need to cross
Yeah.
just one street. So
So
yeah,
it's kind of
very
convenient.
convenient.
Okay. And since you're both artists, I wanted to ask about that dynamic because I don't think I've have I. Wait, I'm trying to recall my memory, but I don't think I've interviewed a guest yet who also has spouse that's an artist. I'm trying to recall my memory really bad, but yeah, I think the dynamic is unique to you so far, just to you so far.
Oh,
So,
cool.
is there like, I'm pretty sure you get burnout, or are you that type who doesn't get burnout like Art Germ?
No, I get long burnouts. Like I'm having
Oh,
the longest one right now.
oh my
Like,
goodness! I wish I had a glass of beer or something. I'm going through the motions. Yes, please continue. Yeah.
I mean, like how I manage my burnout and
Right now, yeah, because I was gonna ask about that because you said you're going through the longest one right now. So
Yeah, I haven't
let
done like any personal art like for so long.
just work, just work
Yeah, just
stuff.
work, 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 work.
So
And
you
I
just made
think,
it happen.
yeah, I think one reason why I got burnt out was when AI got really good. Like,
Oh,
yeah, man. Because when I saw the how it's rendering so good, like all the rendering skills I've been working on, like, and it could just do it in 1 second, like, and that means the value of rendering like has gone down. So yeah, but yeah, I just like played games, like watched Netflix, just do stuff that's like relaxing and not art, and just take care of my kid. So yeah,
oh, you get to hang out with the kids more.
cause
Okay.
I'm already tired after working, so yeah, just kind of wanna get out from the computer and do something else. But maybe once my child is more like manageable, like he's less like crying there. Yeah, it's going to be easier for me to go back to doing personal stuff eventually.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The reason why I ask is my girlfriend is also an artist, but
Hmm.
she's more of a children's book illustrator type. Okay. But back then we used to have challenges where we had to draw things from memory. So I was gonna ask, like, do you and your wife do art together, like every now and then, or is you guys keep it? Because I know some
Hmm.
creatives they can never work with their spouse. One of my graphic design idols, Polisher, she
Hmm.
said like she could never work with her husband. Like it would just drive them crazy. I want to know how's that
Oh,
dynamic
yeah.
for you guys? Yeah.
Well, we started like workmates, so we sort of have like
Um,
an understanding on how each other works. But at the same time, we get on each other's nerves very easily. Like when I give her feedback or she gives me feedback, like it really makes our patience like run out so fast. I don't know why, but yeah, I think mostly we just do art for each other. Like I draw, I draw like a picture of us, or she draws like an anniversary artwork of us, like art to give each other. But we don't really do
um,
collabs.
okay.
Yeah,
Art to give each other is pretty nice. Yeah, my
yeah,
girlfriend does that too for our anniversary. Okay.
cool.
Okay, that pretty cool. On the topic of work, because you mentioned earlier we had two jobs, and one of them is pretty unique. So you're a main marketing illustrator for a startup called Stacked,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about that. Like, how'd you get there?
Oh, it's a long story actually. Yeah. So
It's
yeah,
still
I think
pretty early.
everybody knows I work for West Studio doing splash art, and and eventually I got contacted by a guy for a startup, and people are going to cancel me for this, but yeah, I did. I got hired to work on some NFTs. Yeah.
It
So
happens. I mean, some
yeah,
artists did that during the pandemic. Yeah.
and yeah, people are going to hate me for this, but yeah,
Nah,
until
nah.
so yeah, we continued working together until now. Because after the NFT thing, we worked on the platform. It's like a YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest type of a website, but it's going to target more communities like Asian communities. You could check it out. It's called Join Stacked.
Yeah, the one you
Yeah,
mentioned a while ago.
yeah.
Yeah, that one.
So yeah, because of my splash work, I got contacted yeah, by the founder. And the reason why I'm working with them right now, because my priority now is more stability, because I have a child, and yeah, because it's more now it's like a full-time job,
Uh-huh.
and for West it was more of just a per project basis.
Project
So
based. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you
That's one thing
mentioned
that changed like my priority in
yeah.
my career. Yeah, because of my child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that one. Okay.
Hmm.
Because JS is like one of my mentors. Actually, he's like my main mentor right now, and he told me that like when he gave me a one-on-one mentorship that like I have a goal in my mind, but it might change once you have different priorities in life. Like if you get married, if you have a kid, because he's mentioned how other artists have stayed for 10 years in one company. Like they didn't change anymore. They didn't chase after their studio in their head because they had the kid. So things
Mhm.
change. They're after stability and more. With that in mind, and but right now you mentioned you're having the longest art burn. So art burnout. So I
Mhm.
wanna ask, like, how do you haven't made something for yourself, but in the off chance, like maybe next year when you're out of your art burn, I pray you get out of it. What are the things you do for yourself? What's fun for you, like in art?
And art,
Yeah.
um, because when we first started here in Sweden, I didn't have a job for like maybe a year or something,
Uh huh.
and so that enabled me to like figure out what I wanted to do and like build my own portfolio. And the thing is, I worked a lot more on like character designs.
Yeah.
And I just use my iPad to paint like what lying on the sofa, painting, sketching random characters. And I realized that I really wanted to do that because it's more natural for me. And eventually I tried to apply to Ubisoft, but I didn't get in. And then the splash
It's
came, and so I think eventually I'll go back to my roots, like more character design. Yeah,
oh, that's your
that's
jazz.
like
That's your
yeah,
craft. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Because right now I can sort of relate with that. Like I know I'm a junior game artist right now.
Mm-hmm,
OGs at Brushpoint know the nitty gritty. But my main goal is to become a character concept artist
mm-hmm,
for AAA, right? So I'm currently working on my portfolio as well, just to get into a AAA game studio. I'm pretty transparent with that. Even my bosses know about that. And as someone who has like you have two jobs, like I understand why you're pretty tired. And I
mm-hmm,
myself, the Brushpoint people know how tired I've been for the past 2 months or so. Like just after work, I'm currently working on my fundamentals and how taxing that can be. I haven't even made my own portfolio,
mm-hmm,
but what really excites me is hopefully one day like I can make character designs easier without having I can just focus on design without on the fundamentals. So for you, what type of characters are you more into? Because so far we've seen more of illustration pieces.
mm-hmm,
You're more known here in the country for making splash art, right?
mm-hmm.
But I don't think I've seen much of your character art. Are there any Are there any games that inspired you before to pursue um position? Because for me, it's God of War. It's always been God of War.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get into God of War. I want to see my name in the credits of God of War. Then I can die. I always tell people that I can die right after. I can get hit by a car. So for you, what was that game franchise?
For me, I've always been like a fan of Blizzard, the old Blizzard games, like
Oh, okay.
StarCraft, Warcraft,
I said
Diablo. Yeah,
I haven't heard StarCraft in so long. Okay.
yeah, I
Oh
miss
jeez.
StarCraft. I hope
Okay.
they make another StarCraft.
Or
So
they
yeah, I
reboot.
like those like dark fantasy, like sci-fi
Dark.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you could see some of my character designs like below the splash art. And if
Like
you scroll
really, really below.
down, yeah, really below.
Okay, it's probably on your website. I've dug deep, but
That's in
maybe I need to.
ArtStation. Yeah.
Okay, pretty far back. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so as a character artist, it's okay. So here's the thing. Common rookie mistake is when an artist applies for a concept art position or character art position,
Mm-hmm.
they give like an illustration portfolio. They have portraits, they
Mm-hmm.
have
Yeah.
splash art, then they get rejected. So we're gonna separate that because you those are two different jobs. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what do you find exciting more in character design as compared to full illustration?
It's a lot more exciting because you start from like a blank canvas. Like anything, you could do anything. You could go crazy. While in splash illustration, you're just like making a pretty looking artwork of somebody else's design. So it's a very different mindset. So it can get boring when you're just doing somebody else's design, and especially if you don't like what you're doing, you don't like the design, and you need to make it look cool. But yeah,
Oh, that's spicy right there. That was so hot right there.
yeah, that happened a few times. But I need to like make it cool.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
job.
yeah, it's a job.
Okay. So it's nice that you separated that because
Hmm.
common misconception is sometimes people might think that you're going to do character design when you're doing splash art, which you may in like under circumstances, but the design is already existing. But
Yep.
for character concept design, for those of you that don't might not know, you're starting from a blue sky, and that's a very game
Hmm.
design term where the
Yep.
sky's the limit. So you explore, and you literally conjure different iterations, ideations. So uh, it's very interesting coming from you. Like I'm pretty surprised, and I hope some of the subscribers here listening right now are also like uh, uh, seeing this new part of you. But also, man, your splasher is just really something else. It's badass, but it's coming from me as well. Like some of it can come off as boring because the design's not yours, but you're gonna do
Hmm.
your best to make it pop.
Yeah.
Okay, so part of that is like part of what I want to ask because you're known for that, right? You're known for doing stuff for League of
Hmm.
Legends, but you've also done work for Naughty Dog, like
Hmm.
Uncharted and Last of Us.
Hmm.
Uncharted 4, I'm not ashamed to say I cried in the ending because I've played Uncharted 1 until 4, so it's really emotional for me. Like, I love the writers. Could you talk a bit of how you got that gig? Like, where were you when you worked on stuff for Naughty Dog? Were you there already or still in the Philippines?
In the Philippines, so for
Cool.
like The Last of Us, it's in Lady Luck Digital.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh,
both
okay.
Lady Luck and Secret Six had like a partnership with Naughty Dog because the art director from Naughty Dog is Filipino too,
Eric
Eric
Pangilinan. Yeah, I was
Pangilinan.
gonna
Yeah,
ask.
but he's really like super tough to work with because
Oh,
he's
oh,
gonna
okay,
like
okay.
call my work shit. Oops.
Oh shit. Okay, he's
Yeah,
brutal. Okay,
yeah, it's very brutal. Like,
okay.
but it's so funny because when I made the logos for the Last of Us, the Firefly logo,
Uh-huh,
I spent like 1 month like doing like hundreds. I mean, or I think 150 iterations of
uh-huh.
one logo, and then eventually they said they want to go back to the day one concept, like, and that day one concept they called it looked shit, and then I don't know what happened. They suddenly wanted it, so that's so funny.
It's a funny story.
Yeah,
Wait, hang on. So the Firefly logo is yours?
yeah, one hundred
Holy
percent.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I should
didn't
get
know
it
that. And
tattooed on me. I don't
yeah, or like on your on your left pec or something.
know.
Oh, that's so cool. And now it's on the show. Have you seen the
Yeah,
TV show?
yeah, it's
With Pedro
crazy.
Pascal?
Yeah,
Man, okay,
yeah,
that's
but nobody
history right
knows
there,
like.
guys. Now you do. Holy shit, we got the guy that made the Firefly logo here.
Yeah.
But holy, okay. So I got some insider information because I did some research before on Eric Pangilinan. So I guess he's brutal because of like circumstance. Because he mentioned before, I listened to his interview with Technomancer here on YouTube. He mentioned before how he started, how no
Mm-hmm.
one would hire him. Like he thought, like, okay, here's my portfolio. Where are the phone calls? No one's calling me.
Mm-hmm.
He applied for
Yeah.
Sega. He applied for and then he got into Naughty Dog. I forgot how. I'm not sure if he had tried for Sega. I think he wanted to go for Sega back then,
Mm.
or I could be misplaced. I'm sorry, Eric, if you're watching this, please don't blacklist me from industry. But I'm a fan. So anyway,
Yeah.
so he got into Naughty Dog after like grinding. I know he got rejected. I'm pretty sure he got rejected first before he got
Hmm.
in again. So he really grinded then, and he's been there for like more than 10 years. So I guess he's really that way because of circumstance. So I'd
Hmm.
still love to work with Naughty Dog, but I
Yeah,
know I have a long
he's
way to go.
cool. Like he really knows what he wants. Like the quality is super high. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I want to learn more about it
But yeah,
because yeah,
most of the
well,
artists, they're good artists I know, like are like brutal. So yeah.
okay. So I got thicken up my skin some more. So
Hmm.
for concept artists who want to get into games, you gotta have a thick skin. But they mean
Definitely.
well. Like they're just
Yeah.
on the side of the game. Like, at the end of the day, you're not working in medicine. No one's gonna die. So you're still making something fun. So always remember that. I'm saying that myself as I'm burnt out from working in the game right now. I'll disclose it later in the behind the scenes. What?
Sure.
Because it's gonna be funny. So I don't want to get banned here on YouTube or like remove our monetization. So, anyways, enough of that. Let's move forward. Okay, so can we get existential? Are you okay? Like, how's your mental capacity?
Sure.
Okay, so I get existential with some of the guests because some people they don't like to talk about like the mental aspect of being an artist, and it another guest, Anthony Avon, said it better. Your mind is your work. You gotta take care of it.
Hmm.
But also, like, we also run on our emotions. As someone, as a dad right now, and you mentioned before, you didn't know what you wanted to do. And
Hmm.
then there were times where you didn't have a job, like for a year. And for me, like, I'm very anxious as a person. I'd be paranoid, like, shit, I'm gonna run out of funds.
Yeah.
Emergency fund. I'm dry. So how do you how do you deal with that? Like, I have this inferiority complex. Some people have imposter syndrome because they're in a position that's really good, but they think they don't deserve it. I have like this inferiority complex where like, oh man, I don't think I'm gonna make it there. I don't think I can be as good as my teacher. So how do you deal with all that noise as a dad, as a young
Hmm.
dad right now, and
Yeah.
as an artist making a name for yourself in a foreign country? You know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's very common to have like inferiority complex. I still have it until now.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's Deiv
Uh,
Calviz, everyone. Holy
yeah.
shit. Oh,
Well, I think was very lucky because I mean my family supports what I do, and
uh-huh.
like I have a safety net. So in terms of like finances and stuff, I didn't really worry about it too much. Like I knew I'll eventually find a job, and yeah, I think back then it was a bit easier. I'm not sure, right? The job market right now. I
You're
think
not
it's really
wrong.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Even going to Sweden right now is harder because they're tightening the rules. So like I think everything is harder right now. So if I was in the same situation right now, maybe I would like consider more like different like jobs, or maybe for example, maybe I could do still like merchandise, like stickers or whatever, like just like yeah. Because you need to be, if you're going to be like a freelance artist, you also need to think like a businessman, and yeah, you won't survive if you're just like 100% on just art. You need to like think ways how to make money.
Can
Yeah,
we talk
that's why
more
I have
about that?
like tutorials
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because I made a decent amount of money from my tutorials, and I would love to do more tutorials, but right now I don't have time. And but it's a
Okay.
really feasible like a business.
I
And
like what you said. Yeah. Like you gotta
yeah,
think of yourself as a business. Because
yeah.
again, I've said this multiple times, but I don't think I can ever overstate it. That we don't like to romanticize the freelance life here
Hmm.
or anywhere. And a lot of young people come to the community. I'm one of the moderators, but honestly, I'm still just a student. People think I'm some adult. I'm still figuring it out. I just happened to be interviewing because I asked a lot of questions to JS and Red until they're like, "Hey, you want to interview people?" So I don't like romantic. So whenever people come up to the chat, whenever they hang out in Discord, there are some young people who want to romanticize freelancing, and that's dangerous because you can run dry. Like the more senior freelancers tell them that you can't always be that naive. I'm trying to
Hmm.
be very kind with my words right now. So what you said about being a businessman, could you delve more into like the hardships of freelancing? Especially, dude, you're in a different country. Like as you said, the tax is like 40-50% there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Uh, yeah, I think just consider like all the possible options you can do. Maybe just if you have time, you just try to like test out like different stuff. Like I also tried the Patreon back then, but I didn't have like enough content, so I just shut it down. So
Um,
I just continued on the Gumroad and like ArtStation shop, and until now I'm still earning a bit from those. So it's like a snowball effect. Whatever decision you decide on, like for example, my wife has a friend who started a sticker pottery business, and right now she's like selling a lot. So you just need to start somewhere, and you like find your own niche, and if you provide like a decent quality, and people are going to buy it. So yeah, I think a lot of people just focus on like being a splash artist, just that they have like tunnel vision with just one goal like that. But the
uh-huh.
reality
Hey,
is you need to like spread out and like figure out if there are other things you could also do. Yeah,
guys,
I
heard
think
it
that's it.
from
Yeah.
Dave Calviz right there. So, hey, I'm just a junior artist, but we have a literal splash artist right here who just said that you can't just focus on that. You gotta face reality and treat yourself as a business. So the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I just don't want to see people get their hopes up or come into tough times because they were unwise with their how they spent their time. You know what I'm saying? So we're not trying to be preachy here, but also we're also the, Brushpoint was made for Filipinos first, right? And to help make art more accessible. But part of that is educating them with the proper use and proper adulting, if that's a word, with the adulting realities that comes with that. So thank you for sharing that. You know. And again, you're more authoritative on this than I am. So Dave Calviz right there. You said that.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
very like a very versatile artist. Like I
Uh-huh.
did logos and graphic design, whatever. Yeah.
Oh
So
shit! You went to graphic design as well. Woo!
yeah,
Oh. I mean, you did make
but
the logo for Fireflies.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, there's that's why my mindset is like that, because yeah, I have different like experience on random stuff.
Okay. Hey, but
Hmm.
you make it work, man. And I'm happy. And again, your priorities are different now that you're a daddy.
Hmm.
So it feels weird saying that word daddy. It's all right. It's coming from
Yeah.
me, dude. Okay, all right. We're approaching the end of the interview,
Uh-huh.
so this is where I want to deep dive more into the artist before we get into the critiques, and
Mm. Sure.
that's another segment. Okay, so I only have you like for a few minutes, and it's rare, and I want to ask what people sort of want to know, hopefully, but I can't get into their heads. So, what were the workouts or exercises you did to land a gig for League of Legends, for example, or concept art? What were the fundamentals you practiced over and over? Was there anything different? Is there a lesson from someone that
Hmm.
stuck with you the most?
Um. So I considered myself like a hack. Like I don't. I see myself like I like I faked it till I made it kind of
Hey,
artist. Yeah.
uh huh.
because when I got the splash work, my anatomy skills was not really that good. So I'm the type of guy like to like have so much references. Like sometimes for just one artwork, I have like 100, 200 references. Like for each part, I have a reference, and that's how I like fake it till I made it. Like just made sure I understood every part and I had a reference every part, and just combine everything in one artwork. So does that make sense? Like,
No, it does because I learned how to. I used to take a lot of references
mhm.
already, but then ever since I took like a course on CGMA, my instructor is a supervisor on Blizzard, Inka Schultz. So when I saw her pure ref, I'm like, damn, I'm lacking behind. And the funny thing is, when I showed JS my pure ref board, he's like, oh, you already have a lot. Then when I showed him my board after I took the course, like there's the categories and
Mhm.
stuff. Like, so again, guys, research goes a long
Yeah,
way in
research.
referencing.
I feel
Yeah, and
like most artists don't research enough.
mm,
Yeah, and one of the ways I got where I'm at right now is I joined a lot of contests.
mhm.
Like after college, I joined a Blizzard contest, so it's a StarCraft art contest. And when I won, I think I won first place on that one. So yeah, it was so lucky because it was a voting thing. Like on Facebook, you need to vote, but their website like bugged out and just the first page is always showing. So
That
and my art
sucks.
was in the first page. So
Oh,
people
it
just
worked out.
yeah. So that's why I got a lot more votes because it was on the first page. But I did three artworks, so yeah, I increased my chances. And one more notable contest was another Blizzard contest for Overwatch. I think I got second place, and I think that job like helped me get hired at West Studio. It was the Overwatch artwork with so many characters.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I think joining contests will help you like it's like hitting multiple birds in one stone because you do a fan art, like you get to show the create game creators your work, and you could also put it in your portfolio, and there's a small chance you could win something like cash or something. Yeah. So yeah,
Merchandise. Okay.
joining contests is like my go-to on how to like get my name out there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I should take that advice myself because my girlfriend has been always egging me to join. I'm like, no, I'm not ready yet. I don't think I can make fan art. I'm gonna take your advice now. She's asleep. She's in the US right now, so she can't
Mm,
watch this. So she'll just see it in the recording. So yeah. All right, and we're approaching the end. So this is like my last question. So with everything, like with this great picture you've painted, once again, thank you for sharing. If you were to go back in time, is there anything you would change, or is there anything you'd do differently to like, as an artist,
mm-hmm.
because uh, you mentioned before you didn't know what to do, but if you already knew right now, if you had your knowledge, would you have done something differently, like right after college during that interim period of like 1 year?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
good question. Because I wanted to talk about that a bit. Because I think there was one job that I did that I really didn't like, and
Oh.
I just did it for like maybe more than 1 year, and I sort of got stuck on it. Instead of working on what I really wanted, I got stuck on these random jobs.
Uh-huh.
And I think more if I could change something, I would change that. So instead of doing that, I'd rather just focus on improving my basics, like my anatomy, like perspective, whatever, and just aim for like the job that I was really hoping to get in. So it was like procrastination because I'm like just prioritizing being like in a safe spot, having like a yeah. So it's a very different mindset before, but now I'm more into that like financial safety now. So yeah. But
Okay.
back then it's really important to like really like push for your goal,
So
if that makes sense.
you would resign or you wouldn't take that job and just focus on your fundamentals?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't stick with that job that long
Oh, okay.
because I
I
was
have
doing
to.
like children's like background,
Uh-huh.
children's
Oh, okay.
educational stuff,
Okay,
and
okay.
it
Is this for
was
books? Are these for
for an
books?
interactive website, and it took like so long before I like left the company because it was getting me like too stagnant, if that makes sense.
Ooh, I'm trying not to get. I'm trying not to get hit here because I can share it later off cab. But
Yeah.
I think I'm on that. I'm I think I'm on that same boat right now.
Oh,
So uh-huh.
yeah, it's
So
very
yeah,
common. Yeah, and it's very scary, like to jump from that like safety net.
yeah. Like the
Yeah,
anxiety that comes with something unfamiliar after staying with something so routine and
hmm
safe. Okay, I understand you on that. But you said the payoff would be greater because you would study your fundamentals, right? You'd
yeah,
have more time to
yep.
study your fundamentals.
And I think I would have
Whew,
gotten hired earlier for a splash art. Yeah.
okay. Whew, I think I needed to hear that. I'm sorry, audience. I'm sorry, chat. I hope some people can relate to that right now. So, once again, everyone, this has been Dave Calviz, and with that, our interview segment now comes to a close, and now
Cool.
begins the critique session.
If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. But if you're still looking for more ways you can learn, just head on down to our website at brushpoint.io, where you can watch behind the scenes of this video, watch our live interviews and artist interviews a week earlier, art processes, tutorials, art talks, and lives every single Friday, and even a way to join our Discord community. Just check out that website. Well, that's it. If you want to share this knowledge, well, share with your friends. Like the video, and of course, subscribe if you want more content like this. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.